Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. The big news in credit cards this week was the relaunch of the American Express Delta Skymiles cards. This is a series of 4 cards that is put out by Delta, and it's an American Express product. It was announced late last year by Delta that they were going to be raising the annual fees for their credit cards, and they did give people a small window of opportunity to sign up for the cards with a bonus at the old annual fee rate. But now that it's the new year, they've relaunched the cards with a brand new design, with the higher annual fee. And yeah, they have really good sign-up offers if you were to get one of these cards right now. First thing that has to be said about these cards is that they are not new products. If you've ever had the Delta Platinum or the Delta Gold card and received the sign-up bonus when you got it the first time, you're not eligible for the sign-up bonus again this time. American Express still has its policy of once-in-a-lifetime bonuses. So if you've ever held any of these cards in the past, you're not eligible for the bonus for that specific card. Other credit card YouTubers have covered these cards pretty well. I recommend checking out Waller's Wallet or Ask Sebby. In my video, I want to do a quick recap of the cards, but then I want to point out a problem with these cards, potentially why you might not want to get or why you might not want to use these Delta Skymiles cards. The lowest tier card is the Delta Skymiles Blue card, and this is a no annual fee card. The sign-up bonus is only 15,000 Delta Skymiles for 1,000 in spend in 3 months. It's always 3 months. It's not a great sign-up bonus, but it's a no annual fee card. It doesn't require a lot of spend. Anyone can spend $333 in a month. This card is the no annual fee downgrade path. So if you were to ever get any of the other cards and didn't want to pay that annual fee anymore, everyone always would downgrade then to the blue card in order to keep their credit history intact and not have to pay an annual fee anymore. This card earns 2x Delta Skymiles on Delta purchases and restaurants, and then 1x for everything else. The next card up is the Delta Skymiles Gold card, and this is giving you a 60,000 point sign-up bonus for $2,000 in spend the first year, and then 10,000 points after you renew your card and pay the annual fee for the second year. So this is actually, to me, very interesting that they're now doing 2-tiered, 2-year bonuses. It's basically a built-in retention offer. They could have just offered 60,000 points for 2,000 in spend in the first year, but then, in the second year, nobody wants to pay the annual fee, so they call in and they say, hey, can I get a retention offer? I don't think this card is worth it anymore. So American Express and Delta have just started preempting this by giving people a retention offer for their second year. At 10,000 points, that's not a lot. It's valued around $120. So that would offset the annual fee again for the second year. So this card is interesting because it's an annual fee, $0 for the first year, and then $99 for the second year. But everybody who pays that annual fee for the second year is going to get 10,000 Skymiles points, which is, I value it around $120. So it's like this card is free for 2 years. You also get your first check bag free when flying with Delta, and the multipliers are 2x Skymiles on Delta purchases, restaurants, supermarkets, and then 1x for everything else. The next card in their setup is the Delta Skymiles Platinum card, and once again, this is a 2-tiered sign-up bonus, where it's 80,000 Skymiles for 3,000 in spend the first year, and then 20,000 points when you renew your card going into the second year. The annual fee is $250 a year, so really that sign-up bonus for just renewing the card, you could go ahead and value that at around $240, so it's like it offsets the annual fee for the second year. This card also offers your first check bags free when flying with Delta, and it offers a companion certificate. And how this companion certificate works is whenever you book a flight, round trip anywhere in the lower 48 states, you can have one person basically fly with you for free under this companion certificate. You still have to pay the taxes on the flight, and I think the taxes can't exceed $75. But potentially, for a round trip airfare ticket for somewhere in the United States, that alone could cover the annual fee of $250 a year. The multipliers on this card are the best of any of the cards. You'll earn 3x on Delta flight purchases, 3x on hotels booked with through hotels' websites, 2x on restaurants, 2x on supermarkets, and 1x on everything else. And then finally, the top tier card is the Delta Skymiles Reserve card. This has a $550 annual fee. The sign-up bonus is actually the same as the Platinum card, where it's 80,000 points in the first year for 3,000 spend. That's actually not that much for that many points. I think when I signed up for this card, I got 75,000 points and I had to spend $5,000 in 3 months. So they're being pretty generous with that return on spend. Likewise, you'll get 20,000 points when you renew the card for the second year. And then you also get 20,000 MQM points. This card really is designed for people who are chasing Delta Skymiles status. If you're interested in accumulating, qualifying medallion miles, then you probably know what you're doing. This is probably a card you're interested in. But for the average person not trying to achieve status with Delta Airlines, this is not, in my opinion, a good card for you. That annual fee and those MQMs which you can't spend is probably not worth it. The other benefits of this card is you get Delta Skymiles lounge access when flying with Delta. You also get Centurion lounge access when flying with Delta. You also get your first check bag free, and you get a companion certificate. The companion certificate is different though than the Platinum one, because the Platinum one, it was only for economy, main cabin, whereas the companion certificate here is good for business or first class or economy plus. As long as you paid the price for the first ticket, you can have one person join you on this companion certificate round trip anywhere in the lower 48 states. As far as multipliers go, you get 3x on Delta purchases and then 1x on everything else. So now that we've done a quick review of the cards, who are these cards good for? And first of all, they're good for credit card churners. If you're watching this, then you're probably someone willing to apply for a card because it has a very high sign-up bonus. You then plan on only keeping that card for a year or two and then either canceling it or downgrading it. If that is your goal, then you don't have to think too hard about it. These cards are offering over $1,000 worth of value on not a lot of spend. So if you're someone comfortable just opening a card and then downgrading it to the blue card or canceling it after a year, you don't have to think too much about it. These are great cards. These cards also might be great if you're just a Delta loyalist. If you're someone who always flies Delta, maybe you're out of Atlanta or Minneapolis, and just all of your connecting flights, direct destination flights, it's always with Delta anyways. So if you value main cabin 1 priority boarding, free check bags, the book with points feature when you hold these cards, if you have the Platinum or the Reserve and you value those companion certificates at the cost of the annual fee, as well as lounge access and the potential for seat upgrades if you hold the Reserve now. If you value all of these Delta perks that come with the cards, then that alone offsets the annual fee and you can just view this as a keeper card. But now let's get to the point in the video where I tell you the problem. What is the problem with these cards? And the problem is the Delta multipliers. It's 1x on everything other than these specific categories, but for the blue card, 2x on Delta purchases, 2x on restaurants. The gold, 2x on Delta, 2x on restaurants and supermarkets. The Platinum, 3x on Delta and hotels, 2x on restaurants, 2x on supermarkets, and then the Reserve, only 3x on Delta. These multipliers for earning Skymiles are terrible. The reason why is because all American Express membership reward points transfer to Delta at a 1-to-1 rate. If you just log on to American Express, go to transfer points, put in your Delta Skymiles number, you can then transfer all of your AmEx reward points to Delta Skymiles at 1-to-1. Now, if you've tried to do this, then you know there is a slight hiccup, and that hiccup is that you don't actually get a 1-to-1 rate. I went on the portal in order to kind of test what is the percentage that you're losing. So if you try and transfer 50,000 AmEx reward points, it's going to give you this excise tax offset fee of 6,000 of your membership reward points, and then they're going to charge your card a $30 fee in order to transfer it. I did the exact same thing with the value of 10,000 AmEx reward points, and it's going to charge you an excise tax offset fee of 1,200 membership reward points, and then charge your card a $6 fee for transferring it. So when you look at the percentage, what percentage of your AmEx reward points are you losing when you transfer to Delta? 6,000 divided by 50,000, you have to basically pay this 12% fee for transferring your points to Delta. You then have to pay, if you value Delta Skymiles at 1 cent per point, or 1.2 cents per point, then you can view that $30 charge as an additional 5.6% tax. You do the exact same ratio at a lower number, it's giving you the same percentages, so I'm assuming it's pretty consistent across the board. So when you combine those two, the point loss and then the fee, you're losing about 17% of your points when transferring to Delta. So the transfer rate is actually not 1-to-1. You can view it as 1,000 membership reward points to 830 Delta Skymiles after that 17% tax. So what you can do is you can actually update your Amex reward point earning cards, their multipliers, to say what is the true value in Delta Skymiles that I'm earning from my normal American Express cards. So let's go ahead and compare. Let's compare the Delta Skymiles Reserve card against the American Express Platinum card. Both of these cards have a $550 annual fee now. The multiplier for the Reserve card is 3x on Delta purchases. And I guess that could include other incidentals on Delta's website or when flying Delta. The American Express Platinum card is only 5x on Delta flights booked directly from Delta's portal or the Amex portal. And that 5x multiplier is the equivalent of a 4.14x multiplier for Delta Skymiles when booking Delta flights. Do you follow me? So you can either hold the Delta Skymiles Reserve card, $550 annual fee, and be getting 3x on your Delta flight purchases, or you can just be holding the Platinum and be getting 4.14 Delta Skymiles per dollar spent on Delta flights. That is more than a 25% difference in a multiplier. There's really no excuse for that. And if you don't value that companion certificate at the equivalent of a main economy plus or first class seats, if you would rather be holding the Platinum and getting their benefits, with the $500 airline incidental fee credits, the Saks credit, the Uber credit, for most people who frequently fly Delta and want to rack up serious Delta Skymiles points, you're better off with the Platinum than you are with the Delta Reserve card. And you can continue this comparison across all of the Delta Skymiles cards. You look at the multipliers for the Platinum card, 3x on Delta purchases in hotels, 2x on restaurants, 2x on supermarkets. Compare that to the American Express Gold card. They both have a $250 annual fee. For the Gold card, you're earning 3x on Delta flight purchases, which is a multiplier of 2.49. You're then getting 4x on restaurants, 4x on supermarkets. That's the equivalent of a 3.32 multiplier earning Skymiles. And once again, would you rather have that companion certificate for the Platinum card, or would you rather have the $220 worth of dining credits and airline incidental fee credits for the Gold card? It's the same cost to you, but if your goal is to earn as many Skymiles points as you can, you're better off just getting Amex's regular line of charge cards than getting the Delta Skymiles credit cards. We can even compare the Skymiles Gold card versus the American Express Green card. And I don't even think the American Express Green card is worth it. It's not a very good card because the credits, in my opinion, aren't that decent. But the American Express Green card has a very broad travel category. 3x on a wide range of things that will trigger the credit. Ferries, tolls, pretty much everything but gas stations will count towards that 3x multiplier. And that gives you a 2.49 multiplier for earning Skymiles, which far exceeds the 2x on supermarkets, restaurants, or Delta purchases for having the Delta Gold card. Once again, the annual fee is $150 versus $99. If you'd rather compare the Delta Skymiles Gold card versus the Amex Everyday Preferred card, with this card, it's a little strange. You have to do 30 transactions a month in order to get a 50% boost on your points. But then the equivalent multiplier you're getting for a $95 annual fee is 4.5 times on supermarkets, 3x on gas stations, 1.5 on everything else. The equivalent in Skymiles points that you're earning is a multiplier of 374 on supermarkets, 249 on gas stations, and 1.25 on everything else. So if your goal is to earn Skymiles points in order to fly with Delta, You should not be getting the Delta Skymiles credit cards. You should be getting American Express's main line of other point-earning cards and then just transfer them over. I didn't talk about the 2 Delta Skymiles business cards being offered as well, but once again, they don't even compare against American Express's regular business card. If you were to get the Amex Business Gold, you'll earn 4x on 2 categories. If you're a legit business with a lot of shipping costs or a lot of advertising buys, then you're way better off with the Amex Business Gold card because you're getting the equivalent of 3.32x earning Skymiles with the Gold card, and the Blue Business Plus card has no annual fee, and this would be getting you 1.66x Skymiles on literally everything. These are all the miscellaneous costs that don't fall under convenient categories like restaurants or hotels or supermarkets. The Blue Business Plus, if you're trying to earn Skymiles and you're a business, is the best card you could possibly have because all the other cards in the Delta Skymiles series have just a 1x multiplier for any other miscellaneous costs. So final thoughts is these cards are not good for earning Delta Skymiles, which kind of feels like the whole point of holding the cards. Yes, they have great sign-up bonuses. Yes, you could say that the perks and benefits of holding these cards outweighs the annual fees. But as far as an opportunity cost, you can only spend so much money in a year on Delta flights or supermarkets or hotels. And if you're using these cards to earn Skymiles, you're earning fewer than if you had just gone with regular American Express products. So what do I think is happening here? I definitely think this is deliberate. I think that, some bean counters at American Express and Delta have run the math and they've figured this out, that, getting people to day-to-day put their everyday common spend on these Delta credit cards saves both American Express and Delta money because membership reward points are objectively more valuable. What would you rather have, $100 in cash or $100 in Chuck E. Cheese coins? You can only use the Chuck E. Cheese coins at Chuck E. Cheese, whereas the cash can be converted into anything. It's the same with American Express membership reward points. You can, cash that out to your Charles Schwab account. You can transfer it to British Airways or Hilton or Marriott Bonvoy. Objectively, Amex membership reward points are more valuable than Delta Skymiles because there's no way to transfer out or convert Delta Skymiles. It is also worth just saying that Delta Skymiles don't have a fixed cost to Delta. By having you redeem points and then sticking you in a seat that might have been otherwise empty, it doesn't really cost them anything to have you sit in on the flight if that flight wasn't going to be full anyways. Maximizing their seating capacity in order to reduce their costs as much as possible is a huge saving for Delta, and these credit cards are actually really smart. If you're watching this video, you probably could have figured this out on your own, but I just had to say it. It doesn't make sense why anyone would use these cards for their day-to-day spend when there are much better cards for your category spends. But in the end, it comes down to do what you want. There are people who are Delta loyalists and just using this card makes them feel good. And if that's all that you care about and that's all that matters, then yeah, you can just go ahead and use your Delta Skymiles card at the grocery store and at restaurants and receive fewer Skymiles. That would make Delta and American Express very happy. Okay guys, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up so the algorithm knows it's good. In addition, consider subscribing to my channel. I post weekly about military and finance topics. And if I'm missing something or I didn't explain something well, leave me a question or comment down below. I love hearing from you guys. And until the next video, take care.